sentimental video for the 21st of April 2021 for the QuasiDB service. EURJPY triggered sell for us at 129.95 and we're currently 25 pips up. The place where I would exit would be daily pivot, which is 13025, but now we're in profits. What I'd recommend is that you do move your stop just ahead of entry in case we do get a reversal. I think what's going to happen, we're going to get this volume node here, and then we're going to bounce, and that's about 40 pips away, and that'll flush out some positions as well. And the reason for this falling, so you know, the reason why we had the signal was that deviation logic. So the yen is actually stronger than the euro, and that's how we got that signal. And ideally what we'd want, if you've got time to spare, is to watch the bubbles over time, and what you want is this to come down and cross the 50% line, and you want euro to come across into this section, which it is, and you want this to move along. So you want euro over here and you want yen down here, okay? And if they do, then the euro yen's going to fall, and there's that POC at 129.94 ish. So it's doing well. Just wanted to update you on the signal. And the pound yen, if you remember, it was an entry above monthly pivot and an invalidation below monthly pivot. So hopefully you understood that. It was to move your stop ahead at entry and then to get out. So if you did enter there and you got the signal late, your exit would have been there. So it would have had like minimal damage, really. And so that's the line in the sand. So what we wanted this to rally and to continue, but obviously it did a annoying U-turn, so that's why we got out of monthly pivot. Okay, so you know how that works. Whenever I say like entry here, and I should like specify an validation level on the spreadsheet. So I'll go through the currencies as per. Actually, just a quick look at US 500. So we are well off the highs, and we've got some volume nodes as resistance above 4177, 4171. So they were calling the top on Twitter. They could be right. We did have an amazing bull run, to be honest. So we'll have to wait and see. I think this one might be likely 4101, and it's near the round number 2, the psychological round number. Potential candidate, and then big bounce. So and we can't rule out the fact that we're going to rally, because look at this, it's ridiculous. So we could potentially have some nice support at these pink lines, these volume nodes, and away we go. If you wanted the TPO volume profile, which is this, it's available on the spreadsheet on the starter pack. It's really, really cool and really handy, especially as it says the level and the date as well when that volume node occurred. So potentially a little bit risk off, and maybe we'll target that. AJ, so signals down, sentiment center buy, but they're going slightly long over time, do note, so that's bearish. SSC above 83.65, 83.19. AU, and the stop loss close, very close, that one below now, 76.94 and 77.38. Buy, sell, so there's a mismatch. I think we're going to get that. And what you want to do is pay attention to monthly pivot at 7669. If we break below, then it might discontinue, and it might fall quite spectacularly. So keep an eye on your monthly pivot. Signal saying to sell. So EA, there's your SLC above at 155.10, and the one below is 154.89. The moving averages are all bullish. Sell and wait. And so I think what we're going to see is, like, you know, it's just like making quite a nice rounding pattern. If you saw my chart late last night, so I think we might continue. This is going to be an interesting resistance as well. So MR1 overhead, and we are technically a buyer because we're above monthly pivot. EU, we're above 120. Well, we'll call it 121. It's 121. And the one below is 1.2, 1.12. No, it's not. It's 119. God, 89. So I need to go to. I think I need to go to oppositions Buy, wait, so that's a mismatch. Broken that diagonal, but we're above monthly pivot. GU, so we're taking out the stop loss cluster. It was 139. One above is 13949. Sell, buy, mismatch. So it's definitely weight on your hands. If you remember, I was saying about monthly resistance 1, and I was saying how this should be a resistance. You know, it's in the title, and that could have been a good entry, just trading off MR1. I didn't. I did it. I'll admit I did try and short it at MR1, but then of course I got stopped out there, and these are the stops, the liquidity pools, and I was one of those guys. So I was being a bit risky, to be honest with you. It was only a small position, and it's a very tiny percentage of my capital as well. And I've got an aeroplane above me, so hopefully that's not too distracting. 139.50 and 138.55. So that would have been a good trade, and I got that just a bit late in the day. So yeah, I'm above monthly pivot. Buy. NU. Stop loss cluster is quite large. One above. 72.35. 71.54. Buy. Sell. Mismatch. Euro yen. I just briefly covered it. What we want to do is get a break here of monthly pivot at 129.57. I did say ideally we'd like it below, but we've done quite well already on the signal, so might be prudent to take profits or at least put a trailing stop in. We are a buy at the high level, at the FX SSI level, but my FX book with a sell. So you can see the orange line is my FX book. So they went really long. This is where we got the signal. So that's obviously that reaction there. So them going long, it causes price to fall. SLC below 129.50, so that could be a good target. I think we would go below monthly pivot. We might have legs to the downside, and we're going to get that volume node below. Pound yen, there's your monthly pivot. So you know, like I was saying, you know, you get out. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the monthly pivot. It's very important because obviously it's fallen a great deal off that line. It's 112 pips, so could have been horrible. So just remember to keep your risk management is at top priority, and you know your levels as well. So if your entry is there, you know you don't really want it. You don't really want like a large stop really, because this is such a key level of the monthly pivot. So bear that in mind. The buy and the sells is a mismatch. Moving averages are all sell. So nothing's matched at all. Okay, so this is a sell and this is a sell. So there is a match. So the dollar yen, SSC above, 108.55, and one below. Oh God, it's stubborn. 107.85. Monthly pivots up here, so we're technically bearish. So we should be a short. But this came through, like I was saying, it triggered a sell, but yeah, it went up anyway. If you remember yesterday's video, so it's a bit naughty, and you'd want to keep an eye on that low here at 107.88. But I don't recommend shorting this because you need to keep an eye on your US yields, and they're going to probably spike uncontrollably and stuff like that. So this is a difficult one to trade. Signal is saying to sell and the sentiment saying to sell. So if you did want to take the trade, you'd enter below 107.87. But likewise, you know, you've got a stop loss cluster there, so it could trigger it and then we could rally. So perhaps just watch this one. You know, you've got to be careful. Dollar CAD. Now, there's that CAD weakness. If you remember the bubble, if I just show you quickly, there. So CAD is actually the weakest. So that explains that. So the dollar is actually gaining a lot on the CAD because the CAD sentimental weakness. Buy. So because we're below 50%. So taking out the SLC, which is a large liquidity amount, it was 126.35, and the one below is 125.79. We're above monthly pivot, so don't fight it. Don't be bearish when we're above, and especially when we've got the signal rallying like this as well. And that's them guys shorting it, which is a bullish indication over time. Dollar Swiss, broken that line. and we've got monthly support 1, which could be a good entry if it weren't for the sentiment. We've been a sell for a long time. I can't even remember now. It's been probably about 3 months. So I don't know. I guess it's going to come up, and then these guys are going to get exhausted. I'm not sure. But the SLC above is 91.86, and below is 91.24. We could have monthly support 1. Then we could make an attempt to monthly pivot, and it might just ignore the sentiment. Maybe you have to be careful. But monthly support 1 is a level of interest, 91.85, and it's very close to the stop loss cluster, so it might just bounce. It's hard to say. It should be falling really, but the sentiment. Gold, what we want really is price to be below 1752 in order to short, because we've got that support. I'm waiting for that to break. MR2 is overhead. It's not that far away. 1797 SLC above, 1790 and 1760 sell and wait. So it's completely ignored the sentiment, and it's rallying anyway. So this has been affected. It rallied ever since the CPI data from last week. So it was a big data release. So whenever there's a CPI data in America and you're trading gold, do remember to keep an eye on your calendar, because it was a big mover last week, and it's continued to rally since fundamentally, and it's ignored the sentiment. So just remember to look at the big picture. I'll be risk on or risk off. Understand how the currencies work in that fundamental sort of space. Check your sentiment and then check your technicals. The fundamentals are very important for you to grasp. So you do need to know if something's risk on, risk off, and if something's a buy or a sell. So that's why I do the risk calculation in the morning, and hopefully that helps. So I'm going to wrap up now. Let me know if you want any charts, and let's hope that the Euro Yen continues, and hopefully it does. Don't forget your monthly pivot is 129.57, so it might well bounce on that. And if it breaks and we take that stop loss cluster, then that would be pretty cool, and we'll have a nice result this week. So I'll wrap up now, and I'll speak to you guys later.